friends, welcome again to an important video. This is about fragments, sentence fragments. So after this lesson, you will learn never to write fragments again. Writing sentence fragments, or incomplete sentences as we call, is one of the worst errors in formal papers. Actually, that's the worst error. It's the worst error because fragments give the impression that the writer is still in the kindergarten in formal writing. Using fragments is purely conversational, and when you write them in papers, the educated reader assumes that you have not developed even the most basic skills in writing. That's not a positive impression at all. However, in freshman writing, fragments are a very common presence. It's a common error in many papers, mainly because the students believe that since fragments are generally accepted in their conversational English, they are also accepted in writing as well. I mean in formal writing. In fact, many freshman students whose first language is English are more likely to make this most basic error. Still, I have good news for you. In less than 10 minutes, you can understand with careful attention the difference between a fragment and a complete sentence. And some guided practice will help you eliminate fragments from your formal papers. That's good news. Let us first learn the exceptions. Exception 1. An interjection is not a fragment. Generally, a word or a phrase, a group of words, phrase, is a fragment if these three end punctuations are added at the end of the sentence. The three end punctuations are the period, the question mark, and the exclamation mark. That's a rule. But this is the exception. You can write a word or a phrase and add one of these three end punctuations, and still it's not a fragment as long as it is an interjection, which means a word or a phrase that expresses joy, excitement, or surprise, disbelief, or kind of assertion. See these examples. Interjections are underlined. Yes, I earned an A for the paper. Congratulations, you did it. What? I can hardly believe you. My goodness, it's a narrow escape. Note that most of the interjections can be separated with an end punctuation, that means question, exclamation mark, or period, or can be connected to the sentence, to the main clause with a comma. This you can do either. Exception 2. Only a finite verb is not a fragment when you is implied. I mean, you can use only a verb when you imply you. In request and orders, you is either stated or implied. You listen to me is stated. Listen to me, please listen to me, that you is implied. So the second and the third sentences, listen to me, please listen to me, are not fragments, for you is implied. However, note that in formal writing, you is used only in quotation marks, and therefore the use of this exception in formal papers is very much limited. Other than these two exceptions, a complete sentence requires an independent clause, that's a term, an independent clause, which consists of a subject that performs the action and the finite verb. Without that combination, what you write is a fragment. Accordingly, a fragment can be, number 1, a word, that means any part of the speech except an interjection, as discussed above. This is easy to understand. A word is always a fragment if it is not an interjection. Number 2, a fragment can be a prepositional phrase in which the key word of the phrase is a preposition. Prepositions such as on, in, before, after, to, at, above. They show the connection of a noun to a sentence, prepositions you place before a noun. This is a question. Where is my notebook? The answer is on the table next to the wall. So what is underlined is a fragment. It has two prepositional phrases. 3. A fragment can be a verb phrase in which the key word is a verb. It's a verb form, such as run, running, run, having run. As a long-distance runner, this is an example. As a long-distance runner, I had one dream to run 1 mile in less than 6 minutes. The second sentence is a fragment. 4. A fragment can be a dependent clause which begins with a subordinating conjunction such as when, if, unless, though, although, because, before, after, till, until, as, once. Note that some words can be both preposition and subordinating conjunctions, and we will discuss it later in a different video. The exam would be easier. Look at these examples. The exam would be easier, period, if I studied well and took notes. She continued to drive over the speed limit, period, although it was raining and the road was slippery. One more. I need to find a new job, period, because I am not happy with my present co-workers. Number 5, a relative clause which begins with such relative pronouns as who, which, that, whom, whose. See these examples. My neighbor who works at a grocery store. The lesson that we studied last week. She missed the flight, period, which means that she will miss the wedding as well. So these are fragments. The second sentence is a fragment. How to fix the fragment problem? It is truly easy. With mindful reading and mindful writing, you can get rid of them. Scan the sentence and find out whether it has an independent clause, one that can stand along with a subject and a complete verb. You can write phrases, dependent clauses, relative clauses, long sentences, but whatever you have not written a complete sentence if you do not have an independent clause. See these examples. Bears in Canada hibernate for about 7 months during winter, period, and then wake up as if they were in a sleep. So, in the second sentence, who wake up? Subject is missing. So that the best option is to combine with the previous clause. Bears in Canada hibernate for about 7 months during winter, no comma, and then wake up as if they were in a sleep. So you have to combine. One way is doing that. Look at the next sentence. I need to find a new job, period, because I am not happy with my present co-workers. I gave this earlier also. It's a fragment. You can combine the dependent clause. The dependent clause is incomplete, so that this is the best combination. I need to find a new job because I am not happy with my present co-workers. It's combined, no comma. So no comma because the dependent clause comes after the main clause. That's a very important rule. See this sentence. Because I am not happy with my present co-workers, see the comma. I need to find a new job. If the dependent clause comes first, so need a comma when the dependent clause comes first, at the beginning of the sentence. My neighbor who works at a local hospital, so what? What happened to your neighbor? So the idea is incomplete. The main idea is missing. You have to add something to make it complete. See this sentence. My neighbor, comma, who works at a local hospital, one more comma, is a registered nurse. See the two commas. So that's important, that separate the non-essential clauses. You know, essential clauses are not separated. Non-essential clauses are separated with commas. As a long-distance runner, I had one dream, to run 1 mile in less than 6 minutes. the verb phrase in the second section is an infinitive, it's a participle phrase, so that it's a fragment, so that we can join it with the independent clause. As a long distance runner, I had one dream, to run 1 mile in less than 6 minutes. So see the colon. So that join the two verb clauses. That is it. And you may watch this again to learn more, and you may practice, and you will get rid of fragments completely. Thanks for watching. We will see you again in a different video.